And then whenever you guys are ready, you can go ahead and get started as it's now 10:25.
I guess I'll go ahead and start first. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for Generating Business as a New Agent. I joined Coldwell Banker here at the Marysville office about 2.5 years. I give a lot of shout out to an agent who really pushed me into becoming a real estate agent, as I wanted to do it for several years. Stacy Flack really pushed me, got me into schooling to get going. But when it comes to generating the business as a new agent, I think it's really important that you are really interacting with clients. I know that for my first 6 months in real estate, I was just like a nervous wreck. I was still working a full-time job. I worked for Honda here in Marysville. And one of my big, I think successes to working at Honda, becoming a new real estate agent, is that I continued to work there for about 3 more years. I actually just quit there in September. But while I worked there, it was really important that everybody knew that I got into real estate. I made sure that my business card got passed to everyone I met. There's over 2,000 people that I worked with on a daily basis, just walking around these factories. And I literally business card, business card, business card. And not all conversations started out, about real estate. I told a lot of people, I have a new career that I'm really looking into. Honda wasn't something that I wanted to do for my life, but it's where I ended up going when I was 18. I had no idea where I wanted to be at. But it was really important to pass out business cards, interact with people, let them know that I'm in real estate. And it's really important that even, people, my former coworkers, knew that I was in real estate, but I also made sure anyone, my friends, my family, anyone I met, my partners, coworkers, friends, family, that I was in real estate, continuously passing out those business cards, getting their email, maybe their phone number, send them a text. A lot of success I found was on Facebook. I think social media is huge. And kind of like what Euler said in just his presentation, you don't want to bombard people on Facebook with real estate all the time. You don't want to be like, hey, I'm a realtor, I need business. You don't want to do that. You want to engage and start conversations with your consumer online. What are they doing? Maybe do they like the farmhouse look? Do they like modern houses? What do they like? I'm not posting, hey, here's a house, come join me. Always start a conversation. I think if you follow Sean Carpenter, he's really good at that as well on Facebook. He's always engaging all of his friends and, the people on his social media in a conversation, something that just kind of keeps you at the top and always has your name there. It's always present. Another thing is that, there's a lot of great things that Coldwell Banker offers, and I really wanted to focus in on farming different areas. We have many, in my area, we have a lot of subdivisions. We have small ones, we have large ones, and we have different roads with different price points. I thought it was really important that I am sending mailers. Prior to COVID, I went door to door. Some people like it. Some people will shut the door in your face and cuss you out. That's just part of the business. But it's all about, interacting with the consumer and trying to get your name, your brand, who you are out there, so they know that you're in real estate. One thing I see with a lot of newer agents, and this was myself, people kind of like freak out if they're not getting, as soon as they get their license, they come into the office, they think the business is just going to come to them, and that's just not how it works. You've really got to engage in people and really find, let them trust you. I really think that, invite them to Starbucks, go to a local invite them, take them out, introduce what you have to offer, on what you can do as an agent. Coldwell Banker has many great tools, listing concierge, that's a great thing that many brokerages don't have. What sets you apart from your competition? Because anyone can go to another realtor, but what really sets you apart? Be personable, be friendly, know your audience and who you're going to target. In my business, I target first-time home buyers. That is something I really specialize in. I remember when I bought my first house, I was not a real estate agent. I was totally clueless. I just walked into a random real estate office and said, hey, I want to buy a house today. Well, and you know what? That's what a lot of people do. They go online, they go to Zillow, they go to realtors.com, Trulia, homes.com. You know, you really want to grab them before they go online and find an agent. If you have a friend or a family who's even considering um, talking about buying a house, you know, grab their phone number, start texting them, start a conversation. Hey, you know what? Why don't we just go look at this house today? You know, take that time to get your client out and start showing houses and let them know who you are and what you have to offer. You know, it's really important as a new real estate agent that you make partnerships, you know, with lenders, title companies. You know, I take great pride in using Quality Choice Title or Search to Close, you know, different title companies, you know, that I think that are going to really help me benefit my business as well. You know, find that right lender. You know, the right lender is the key to your success as well, because you want to make sure that your lender is also really communicating with, you know, your client and you. You know, if you need, once you do get your listings or you have a buyer, you know, start meeting contractors, find somebody who paints, somebody who can work on the roof, find somebody who can, you know, make small repairs. You know, always refer that person out, even if it's not for your business or you have a friend or a family looking for somebody, refer that contractor out, because that contractor right there will always refer you out when they're at a house making a repair, and maybe they start a conversation with that client of theirs wanting to buy or sell a home as well. So I think it's really important to always engage, stay on top. But like I said, social media is huge. You know, always every morning when I wake up, I look, say, okay, who has a birthday today on Facebook? It tells you their birthday. Wish them a happy birthday. Stay engaged. If they had maybe if they're a new parent, you know, I send them a card. You know, send them a private message. Say, hey, congratulations on, you know, the pregnancy or the birth of a child. Maybe they're getting married or engaged. You know, maybe send them a card in the mail if you have their address. Stuff like that. That way you're always on top of their mind in the event that you need something. Another thing is, you know, at our home, we have a pool. I think it's really important, you know. If I have friends coming over, you know, I invite them over on a weekend. Hey, why don't you just come over? Let's chit chat, you know, let's just kind of catch up. Um, Stuff like that as well. But I think for a lot of new agents, it's really important to engage. Don't expect the business to come to you, go out and find it. Always stay on top with your clients. You know, and if you don't know the answer, tell your client, hey, let me find the answer and I'll be right back and get it to you. Because a lot of new agents, you know, we don't want to make that assumption that we know everything, because we don't. You know, I myself, you know, made those rookie mistakes. So I just think it's really important that you're always on top of what you're doing. Stay active with your clients, even if they're not ready to buy or sell now. Put them in your pipeline. You know, put them on new Panda searches. Put them in your prospect square. Make sure you're always staying engaged with them as well. One thing, I get a lot of first-time home buyers who may not have the best credit. It's important that, you know what, I may not be a credit expert. You know, I myself had, you know, credit issues when I was younger. You know, we all make mistakes at 18, 19, 20 years old. You know, why don't we guide that client on how to maybe repair their credit? It doesn't take much time. You know, pay off some debts, pay off some collections. Why don't we check back on you and, you know, maybe 2, 3, 6 months down the road and see what you've paid off, and maybe now we can get you pre-approved for a mortgage. You know, there's many great programs. Like I just recently learned that guaranteed rate with Coldwell Banker, you know, you can go down to a 620 credit score. You know, some lenders right now during COVID changed it to 660. So it's just important that you find that partnership with a lender, keep up with your clients, help guide them, and know that you're always going to be there for them as well. But always stay on top of your clients and just make sure that you're really keeping up with them and guiding them, and just don't fall off the face of the earth. Because I know I've had a lot of clients who come to me where their agents just fall off because their credit's not, you know, ready. You know, be that realtor that's going to be there for your client for life. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cody. Jonathan, you want to take it from here? Jonathan, you are muted. If you just want to unmute yourself real quick, and then we will be good to go.
Hey, Jonathan, I think you're unmuted, but I just have to say, Hannah, I've not met you, and you're a rock star. Everybody keeps talking about you. So thanks for being here, Hannah. I know, right?
Thank you, everyone.
I mean, listen, you make me look good, Hannah, so thank you. Welcome, Jonathan.
Welcome, Jonathan. Take it away.
Can you hear me now? Awesome. So I was a part of a rookie kind of a session. It's been a few months ago, and I'll kind of start with that because I learned a very valuable lesson in April of 2019. So I get my license October of 2018, and I pretty much am transitioning from one career to real estate full time. So I do absolutely nothing, but I begin to plan what I want to do. In January, I go through AMP class. I get a lot of valuable information. I get trained on the system. I know how to navigate pretty much, kind of like all rookies. I'm pretty dangerous. Not enough information to really do anything, but enough to say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. And so in February of 2019, I was dealing with four clients. And I look at prospects, I divide those up in my mind as prospects that are in my sphere, and then prospects that are referrals or purchase leads, or somebody I might get from a flyer or a mailer. And so I kind of divide them up that way in my head. So February of 2019, I was working with one that was in my sphere of influence. This was a first-time home buyer, FHA qualified. Their budget was $100,000, and they wanted to be in one of the best school districts of Cincinnati. So that was one group. The other one was a referral from my sphere of influence that was looking to list their house. The two other folks that I was working with, and this is February 2019, were two folks that I met at an open house. A little bit of a caveat is if you don't have business, reach out to every successful agent in your office and ask them if you can host their open houses. It was a big game changer for me. I'm working with people today that I met through open houses in 2019. So it just shows you that there is some development that takes place, and a lot of folks, you have to farm people, not just areas. You have to be there for all their milestones in their life, like Cody had mentioned, birthdays and so forth. And what I try to do is get in front of people as quickly as I can. So if it's people in my sphere, they know me pretty well, but people that are referrals from a sphere or a purchase lead, I've got to get in front of them as quick as I can. And so an example is when I first started, and this is about April, and I'm getting to my lesson learned here quickly, but I signed up for OpCity. If anybody knows OpCity, it's a great platform, just like a lot of great platforms that allow you to purchase the leads. You can either, that particular platform allows you to pay after you close the deal. So it's really a great thing for new agents. And as I first started, I noticed that they were going to give me leads that were from 0 to 60,000. And they were people that weren't qualified. And so I just started taking all of these lead opportunities that would come to me. They were, kind of mix and match in a handful a week. And, I was driving to Blanchester, Ohio for a $20,000, total tear down house. I was driving absolutely all over the place. And the reason I did it is I realized early on that if OpCity was looking at me as a new agent and that I had to prove myself, then that was going to be true of even my own office. I wanted to make sure that my manager had trust in me and that I could close the smallest deal. And I knew until I proved myself, I wasn't going to have other opportunities. So I continued to really dig in deep and begin to pursue those lead opportunities. But from February to April, I was working with four really great people. Three of them were people that were over 200,000. One was 200. One was about a $350,000 buy budget. The other one was about a $600,000 buy budget. So I was like, man, this real estate situation, I'm in heaven. I can do this. At the end of April, I had closed one deal, and it was the $100,000 FHA deal. And the other 3 I did not close for whatever reason. You could probably call them all up today and they'd say, oh, Jonathan was great to work with. We had a great experience, life change, all kinds of things happened to prevent us from actually getting to the closing table. But a lesson that I learned in April of 2019, that whatever I was doing, I had to do 10 times as much work as what I was doing. And so anybody who's done this, obviously great talented people that are in Coldwell Banker and across the city with great agencies that do great business. The only reason they're doing great business is because of extremely hard work. And this business is really, really humbling. And if you see like a seasoned agent like a Scott Euler or Rakesh Ram or Guy Cagney here in the Cincinnati area, plenty of great people, Rick Finn, that do incredible volume. They do it now certainly by hard work, but they have great systems in place. They have they do a lot of they have a lot of great support. And I realized I wasn't going to be able to match anybody on systems. I wasn't going to be able to match people on experience. And I just put it in my mind that I was not going to be average, that I was going to do, I was going to outwork and out hustle anybody. And I think that's a mindset of a new agent that you have to take on yourself. And so one of the examples that I do is when I'm showing a property, if I'm there early, I'll go to the houses around them and I'll put a door hanger on their door. And whether I'm doing an open house, I'll hit that street. If I just like a particular neighborhood and I've got 30 minutes, I'll put a door hanger on a street. And the reason that's important is I've only gotten one call off my door hanger. But I'm really a big believer in the fact that the busier you act, the busier you get. And so what I try to do every single day is, it's very difficult to plan when you've got a lot of active buyers. Generally I'm working right now between 8 and 10 active buyers that are looking for a specific thing. They're either looking for a particular area, price range, school district, timing obviously is important with all those folks. And so any one of those folks that are very active could say, hey, let's go see 123 Main. And then I get a text message, hey, let's go see 456 Maple. And I've got to figure out a way to be able to put those in, because in my mind, there's nothing more important than prospecting, not even closings. Closing, documentation, and administrative work, I do all of that after dark. But if I have to miss a closing to see a prospect for the very first time, I do it. And because I believe that if you can get in front of people just as quickly as possible, you have a great opportunity to bring them to the closing table. I call a lot of people. I text a lot of people. If you're getting leads in any way, shape, or form, you've got to work them. I kind of go after those leads that are blind leads. Very they could be cold or somewhat warm. I'm looking for the potential of it becoming a no, because I don't have enough time during the day like all of you. And so what I'm trying to do is ask them very specifically, are you looking to buy or sell prior to the end of 2020? And just asking them to begin to talk then. And so I let folks begin to tell their dreams. Cody mentioned that a little bit. Here's what they're looking for specifically. And, I tell people the very first time when I'm talking to them is I've never sold a house in all this 2+ years that I've been an agent with very little experience. I've never sold a house. I've always just been able to get really good at the contracts in order to buy or in order to get what they say that their dream is. So if they want to see it, one of the things I learned from Andy Weiss early on was, don't try to assume that exactly what your client is going to say they want or they love or they hate. We try to give them plenty of opportunities, but at the end of the day, the client tells you, hey, I want this house, and it's our job to display the confidence to say, I can get this. I take pride, like all of you do, in that you've got to get really good at contracts. So I mentioned Andy Weiss really quickly, and I'll end with this if anybody has any questions or if I'm totally mumbling here. But he told me early on during just after my AMP classes was I had to develop a pipeline board. And so a lot of people do it electronically. I have a visual pipeline board. That pipeline board has every single closing that I've got, every pending, every listing that's not pending, and every active prospect, and then every prospect that I'm trying to bring into my sphere of influence. So there's about 5 categories there that I just keep moving people around on the board, and I can see my progress every single day of knowing how many people I'm working with, how many people are pending, and then I've got dates on the pending ones, so I know exactly what I have to do from an administrative point of view, and how I've got to reel in some paperwork at the end of the night. But that has been a game changer for me. A lot of people do it all on their phone. I have to see it. The first thing when I wake up in the morning and leave, that board is just outside, kind of our main sleeping area, our master bedroom, and just kind of like a little cove there where it's the first thing I see when I leave, and it's the last thing I do before I get in, last thing I see before I get in bed at night. And so those kind of reminders kind of keeps everything focused. And I've told Joe several different times, I feel nervous if I'm not showing properties almost every single day of the week. And I feel like it's a successful day if I'm showing 3 or 4 or 5 different people 1 or more houses. And the only way that happens is I just simply go. And that's not for everybody, but I just, I'm kind of in the mode where, hey, if I'm in this and if I've dedicated my life to real estate, I want to give it absolutely everything I've got. And so, that's kind of my approach every single day.
Awesome. So it looks like we have one question in the chat for you from Keon. So it says, what type of questions did you ask yourself in order to begin to build your brand as a new agent?
I don't know that I've even got a brand yet. I mean, obviously, you just have your name and your hard work of what you're doing. I ask myself throughout the day, several times throughout the day, is this necessary? And almost anything to do with prospecting is always necessary. Things that aren't prospecting, those are generally not necessary. And you can really begin to filter out what's important to you during the day. For example, if I've got a lunch planned with somebody, it's a friend, usually they're kind of impromptu, but hey, what are you doing for lunch tomorrow? That's great. Let's plan on getting together for lunch. Those don't always take priority because they might not be a prospecting opportunity. Some lunches are, but I really rarely stop for that, for just simply socialization. I have a plan to be able to get in front of folks. And again, I know my phone's going to ring off the hook, and I got to figure out a way to fit everything in on that day. Usually, like a lot of you on this call, even though we're young in the business, it's not uncommon for us to have 6 or 8 or 10 pending deals at any one time. I don't know how that happens unless you work hard every single day to be able to get in front of people. You got to show a lot of houses. You got to make a lot of calls. You got to do a lot of text messages, and you just have to refuse to be average. And I think if you can see visualization, if you don't like pipeline board like that, you actually have to do a dry erase board. Try something on your phone where you know that every time you pick up your phone, you're seeing what your platform is telling you who needs to be contacted. Because if you're showing a buyer, for example, let's say you've been working with them for a couple of months and you've been showing them every other day a property, in 3 or 4 days they don't reach back to you. I've had plenty of folks, and when I mentioned this is a humbling business, I've had plenty of folks who I thought they were going to close with me and they closed with somebody else. And I was out of time, wasn't on their priority list. So I learned valuable lessons, and I try to learn every single day, because there's great seasoned vets that will tell you, they'll give you all their insight if you ask them. I'll ask successful agents that have been in the business 30 and 40 years advice on contract language, on addendums, on just trying to pick their brain a little bit. One thing I found that was very valuable is try to do a deal with a seasoned agent. Learned a great deal in Cincinnati, closing a deal with Rakesh Ram. Learned a great deal of knowledge by closing a deal with Guy Cagney. And then I talk to people that are not even in Coldwell Banker that have retired from real estate. And I ask them, because I need to be coached. I need to learn every single day. What I don't need is motivation. And if you need motivation, that's not where coaching is going to come in. I believe that I need to be coached and I need to be organized and I need systems in place. And I'm getting there, but I'm learning. Right now, I don't have a system in place. I just simply go, and I hit it hard every single day. And I ask myself, is this necessary? And one buyer at a time. So.
I have to agree with Jonathan on that. It is really sometimes really hectic starting out. You know, my business really took off and I did not plan on that happening, nor did I foresee that. And I find myself too being very unorganized. And sometimes I just need to sit down, breathe, organize myself, you know, find out where my leads are, because I may have, you know, 10, 12 houses in contract right now, you know, pending to go to the closing table, but I failed to market for the next month as well. So it's always about, you know, really take time to sit down and prospect, you know, at least for 1 hour a day, because although I have excellent business for November, I was so busy I forgot to prospect, and now I'm kind of slow for December as well.
I think that's a great point. And that balance, right, is really important of like, I always call it like working in your business versus working on your business. Like you're always going to have those moving pieces for your active transactions and the things that are going through right now, but you have to have that prospecting time to build your business into the future months or you lose that paycheck. So I'm glad that you guys mentioned that. Casey, Casey wants to know from Jonathan, what are the 5 categories in your pipeline list?
Yeah, so I've got closings. I always want to see my closings give everybody here hope. We all had to start somewhere. Scott Euler, incredible, you know, listening to that session today. But I say if one person can do it, then another man can do it. I've closed my 56th deal year to date on yesterday. So I close a lot of deals and I want to see those. And I put those on my board. That's top, front, and center. Then my pending is there. My listings are there because some of those aren't pending. My prospects that I'm currently showing homes to, and then my prospects that I'm trying to bring up to my actually showing property to or doing a listing presentation to. So those are my 5 areas.
Awesome, thank you. And then let's see, we've got another question to both of you. How many homes did you sell in your first year as an agent?
In my first year of real estate, I sold 36 homes. It was and I was also working a full-time 50-hour-a-week job while selling 36 homes as well. It was busy. I never slept. But, you know, I was very adamant. I was about ready to quit a full-time job, and, you know, it was an $80,000 a year job. And in real estate, you know, my philosophy was, if I am selling a house, I'm not making money. So, you know, my first 2 years in real estate was all about saving money so we could have a savings just in case something happened in real estate. And then I also put aside money towards my business because I knew that I want my business to grow, but I also needed money for marketing, prospecting. So I took advantage that first year of all the free tools that are available through Coldwell Banker, social media, just communicating door to door, open houses for other seasoned agents as well. And that's how I really just attracted that business. But I was continuously following up with everybody as much as I could.
I closed 16 in 2019, and my goal going into 2020 was to close 40 deals. And I don't know when I closed 40, but probably in August, I think, now at 56. So I remember this is another conversation I had with the seasoned agent. He basically said, you can close about 60 deals a year by yourself. And then once you get to that point, you've got to add and become, you know, a team, or if you want to grow that business. So, you know, I'm learning, I'm having growing pains right now with just all the administrative work, but boy, it's an exciting time, that's for sure.